Hello everyone, my name is Kayla and welcome back to Kay's Hidden Shelf where we talk about books. Today we are doing another indie spotlight episode. Why? Because there are so many books coming out and we gotta talk about them. As always, we are gonna start with the upcoming releases first, and the first one we're gonna talk about is actually a little bit further out in terms of release date, but I want to talk about it because it's been on my radar for quite some time and I'm really excited to read it myself, and that is The Bartender Between Worlds by Herman Stuernagel. I am so sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. This is releasing on July 23rd, so not too far out, but a couple months at least, and that cover dropped recently, which is stunning. It is a low-stakes cozy fantasy about cocktails, magic portals, and finding where we truly belong. Now, if you enjoyed the themes of leaving it all behind, like in Legends and Lattes, along with the fun and low-stakes magic of The Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, then this one might be for you. After that, we have another epic cover, and that is for The Dragon Legion by Isaac Hill. I believe this is a debut for the author. It's releasing on May 14th, and it has a word count of about 92,000 words. It is a fantasy, and there are trigger warnings for it, including violence and graphic warfare, so just be mindful on that front. Now, I do have a little bit of a longer pitch for this one, and that is Drog the Sunborn Empire's last son rises in the ranks of the Second Legion, a legion of criminals. Sent to quell the rebelling northern tribes, the last Sunborn son finds himself in a cruel world of politics, murder, and betrayal as he struggles to survive. Welcome to the Sunborn series, where empires rise, fall, and against all odds, rise again. The Dragon Legion is born. After that, we have The Blood Woven by G.J. Terrell. This is releasing on May 9th, so that's coming up pretty quick. It is a fantasy, and again, that cover dropped quite recently, and it includes found family, secret history, and forbidden magic, to name a few. The pitch for this one is road-weary soldier Lindell thought all he needed to do to return home was finish his current escort mission. Then he discovers one of his charges murdered, with a wailing newborn in her limp arms, and his ally, a woman holding the accused murderer at knife point. I'm always a little bit cautious when babies are portrayed in fantasy or darker storytelling. Just as a mom myself, I can be a little squeamish around that, but this sounds like it's going to be quite the epic adventure. And quick tidbit, if you look carefully, you can find a cat hidden in the cover art. Another one releasing in May is Soul Cage by L.R. Schultz. This is an author I've been meaning to read for quite some time. He has 2 other books out, and this is his 3rd, I believe. This one is releasing on May 28th. Again, another epic cover. I love the colors on this and the design of it with the character. It's about 450 pages, and the tagline for it is Sanderson's Warbreaker meets Brent Weeks' Lightbringer in a world where the act of murder leads to greater magic. That sounds epic and dark, and I'm all here for it. After that, we have Demon's Tear by R.E. Sanders. Now, I recently had the pleasure of being able to chat with R.E. Sanders, or Rob, in an interview. We chatted all about his writing, his experience as an archaeologist, as well as many other aspects. So go check out the interview if you are interested in hearing more about this author. This is going to be releasing on June 1st. It is a fantasy at around 550 pages. It also has 2 captions here for you, 2 taglines. So let's dive in with the first one. And that is Guardians of the Galaxy as written by Bernard Cornwell. And the second one is a classic medieval fantasy adventure where there are no true heroes and the villains are not evil. A desperate struggle unfolds to possess a mysterious and unearthly item, but few know the true danger it possesses. Now, this is book 1 in a new series, so go check that out. The author also has 2 other books that they've written, so if you want to dip your toes in before this one releases, you have plenty of time to do that too. The next one here caught my eye for the cover and then the captions as I was reading. I thought this sounded fantastic and I wanted to share it with all of you too, as I know there are a few out there who will like this too. This is Serpent's End by Lorne Hillaker, and this is about 460 364 pages. It's book 1 in the Ember Sea trilogy, and book 2 recently released on April 24th, and that's called Ember's Rose. The caption for this one is a flintlock fantasy where pirates and dragons fight over the gold needed to fuel their magic. Elliot joins a legendary crew to hunt down an elder dragon, only to discover it is looking for them as well. Dragons, flintlock fantasy, pirates, it all sounds epic to me. And that is it for the upcoming releases. So let's dive into the ones that have recently released. For this next one, I was really lucky to receive a physical review copy for this, and it is a continuation in a series that I highly recommend you check out if you're looking for something that is really unique in a different culture and different folklore settings, and that is A Heart Full of Malice by Tony DiBaggio. That cover, I love it. I love the design. I love the colors and how they pop. And this is book 2 in the Fractured Kingdom series. It's about 473 pages, and the tagline for the series so far: there are no true victors in war. Even those that prevail cannot escape the burden of guilt for those who have fallen, and all those who witness the ugliness in the hearts of men are forever tainted. Like I said, this is just a fascinating insight into Nigerian culture, history, and folklore, and there is plenty of political scheming and intrigue and action on top of all of it. And of course, magic, as this is a fantasy as well. So we have a folktale magic in it, and it is just a wonderful read, and I'm looking forward to continuing as I really enjoyed book 1. After that, we have one that's been on my radar for a while, and I actually tried to order a physical copy of this, but unfortunately it wasn't able to be fulfilled by Amazon, and that's a whole thing with Amazon, nothing to do with the author. So I'm going to try my hand at it again, but in the meantime, ebooks are great, right? This is Sea of Souls by N.C. Scrimminger. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. I'm probably not. I am so sorry. This is book 1 in the Sea of Souls saga. It is 382 pages, and this is a Scottish-inspired dark fantasy filled with folklore and monsters, ancient magic, and high seas adventure. Join runaway noble Isla and rogue Selkie Emir as they hunt down a stolen pelt guarded by the island's notorious Grand Admiral. I personally love folklore and nautical fantasy. I just love how the setting is, the atmosphere of it, and what authors can do with those folklores into their stories. I just adore. So this is one that I've been really looking forward to reading as well. The next one is another one that's been on my radar for a little bit, and the only reason that I've hesitated on diving in is because, well, you'll see in the tagline. This is Sledge versus the Labyrinth by Nick Horvath. It's 329 pages. It's a thriller fiction mystery, and the tagline for this is Sledge is a throwback to grindhouse pulp fiction. You will be triggered. That, plus some of the feedback I've read about the gruesomeness that can be a part of this, has me a little concerned. I do really want to check this out because it sounds fascinating, but the level of potential carnage concerns me, but I still want to try and dip my toes in. There is a review here from E.C. Greaves that I wanted to highlight as well, and that's Think Reacher, but meaner and leaner. So if you love that style of book, this is one to check out. And the final one for today is actually one that released, I believe, last week at the time of recording this, and that is Bloods of a Withering Kingdom by Corey Ratliff. This is a part of the Almeria Chronicles. It's book 2, and it is 742 pages. It's a Dragon Rider fantasy, and the tagline for the series is, "If war is upon us, then war becomes us." Now, the tagline specifically for book 2 is "Death will meet life as unforeseen enemies are revealed. Old foes reemerge, alliances form in the most unlikely of places. When the rise of the shadow bond threatens every faction, can heroes prevail where all else have failed before. Now, I also had the pleasure of chatting with Corey in a recent interview, so if you want to go check out more about Corey's writing, the series itself, what to expect in the long term with this series, as well as the first book and the novella that's currently out as well, by all means go check out that interview in the link in the cards. I'll leave that there for you to look at as well. And that is everything for today's episode. In general, I'm finding 10 books per episode is a happy spot. That's 5 books per category. And I mean, this could be so much longer. There are so many books coming out. So many great sounding books are being released. Authors, you are phenomenal. And cover artists, you are doing an incredible job. All of the cover art here, stunning. The colors, the designs, you are breathing a beautiful artwork into life for these authors' stories, and I'm here for it. I would love to know which of these books stood out to you. Did you add any to your TBR? Have you read any already? Leave your comments down below. I always love hearing from you. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.